At our last round of Mountain Dew ATV Motocross, the action was out of control as riders battled for position in an attempt to hold off Chad Wienen. And veteran star John Natale did just that for the defending champ in Moto 1. But Wienen came back strong, overcoming a furious pack of contenders to take the lead and the win in Moto 2. But we've seen before that anything can happen in ATV Motocross. Can Wienen make it 3 straight today? Hey folks, it's the ATV Stampede, round 3 of the Mountain Dew ATV Motocross Championship. This event brought to you by Maxxis, and we are at the legendary High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, about an hour south of Pittsburgh. And the rolling hills of High Point have been hosting ATV Motocross for about 30 years now, essentially since the series started. Yes, this track also made famous with a round of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship for bikes. It's exceptionally well fit for ATV racing, though. A lot of wide and off-camber corners, so plenty of passing opportunities, and the fans show up because ATVs rock, yes, and they expect the racing today to be very good. Although we do have some rain on and off throughout the day in practice here. You can see Thomas Brown's machine is muddy. He doesn't seem to be bothered by that. Here's the 88, Joel Hedrick. He is a Pennsylvania native. He would love nothing more than to make fans like these very happy if he takes a win. Got Ronnie Higgerson running side flank with him, also riding a Can-Am. Tyler Hamrick, he's out of Ohio. Going to have a lot of people pulling for him. That's just over the state line. But they're all aiming for the Wienen Motorsports Yamahas, including your points leader and defending champ, Chad Wienen.
All right, coming into round 3. Had a good long break. Actually, was able to go home and get my track in order and just kind of things back home, just everything rolling, and had a good break. Plenty of riding in it. Was crazy long from what we were used to, and it was just good to be back home, getting motos in back home and having fun, seeing family, and coming in prepared for round 3, and we're gonna see what we're gonna be able to lay down this weekend.
Okay, riders have gathered in front of the starting gate. There's Harv Whipple, series referee, giving them the rules of the off-road. Next up, we'll have qualifying action from the ATV Stampede. Stay with us. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. Time to do some racing, and we do mean time. Can-Am qualifiers have begun here at the ATV Stampede, brought to you by Maxxis. It's essentially a practice session for the top pro riders, but we will keep lap times and figure out who the fastest rider around the track is. ATVriders.com will give out a little bit of money to the rider who is the fastest qualifier. Speaking of fast, you can see how this High Point track is laid out. A little bit hillier than the first 2 rounds of the year. And again, those off-camber corners, that's where the track leans away. That's the real X factor out here. You see John Natale, a veteran, and another Pennsylvania native carving it up. Another Pennsylvanian here, Nicholas Moser on a 77. There's those big downhills, Josh Upperman on the number 20 tackling them, and Natale laying it down. But when it was all said and done, it was the Keystone States. Joel Hedrick, who put down the fastest lap time, and the people were definitely pumped on that. And that gives Hedrick the first gate pick. There you see him on the 88 in the motos. So potentially a better start for him there. But the real point, remember, it's practice. The riders get to learn the track, and the fans get to pick out the numbers, the colors, and know who they want to root for when the motos begin. And it's always fun to watch racers go fast, especially on a technical track like this. You've got the big jumps, you've got the steep up and down hills, and you got those off-camber corners. A true technical challenge for any rider, pro or amateur, at High Point Raceway here in Pennsylvania. Practice qualifying is broken up into 2 sessions. Hedrick was on top in both. Good run by Jeff Rastrelli in the first, showing that Can-Am has the setup dialed. It was Hedrick on top again the next time out. Chad Wienen flip-flopping with Rastrelli here, but these guys were all very close. So it shows that anyone can win out here, although, like I said, they're probably rooting for Hetrick more than anyone else, or maybe this man, the veteran from Pennsylvania, John Natale.
Well, since round 2, I have been at home actually working on a lot of tire stuff, testing some different pressures and so on, testing some different suspension setups, just different geometry of the bike, trying to get it dialed in so it turns a little bit better, and we'll see what happens here at Mount Morris at round 3.
And Josh Upperman is known as the master starter. He's an Ohio native. Let's talk to him.
Last round we had a really good round here at Tennessee. I got 3rd overall. Finally got on the box, so I took that momentum, came home and just put my head down and went to training. Did rode quite a bit. Did a lot of cardio and working out, and just wanted to come into High Point, better than ever and strong, and look forward to being on the podium here at High Point.
Well, we're ready to see who gets on the podium. We'll be underway with Moto 1 from the ATV Stampede when we return. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by AMSOIL. About to go racing Josh Kramer here on an inside gate, running the BCS Can-Am. We're going to find out who's got the stuff, and guess what? Well, the stuff to start off fast. Who knew? We have intermittent rain coming down here all weekend long, so it's going to be a little bit sloppy. We've got Joel Hetrick with our Rocky Mountain ATV MC on board. He's going to get pinched off, even though he had the good gate pick. And Chad Wienen will emerge with your whole shot. So SSI Decal is going to kick in some money for him, and you've got the 9 of Kramer making that inside gate pick work. He's in second. Here's Hetrick, again with the Rocky Mountain helmet cam. I'd say he's about 5th right now, so he's got some work to do. And you can hear the rocks and mud being kicked back on Hetrick as Wienen tries to get away. I believe that's Natale who has gotten into second, then it's Kramer, and now you're on board. 4th place is Hetrick. And look at the champ trying to get away, that big uphill step up. That's Wienen. John Natale not going to make it easy on him to get away. Now we're headed down the section they call Bradshaw Boulevard. That's the finish line. A lap in the books. You got 2 Can-Ams, the Honda in second and the Yamaha up front. And Hetrick appears to be trying to make moves on Kramer for 3rd. Kramer has won this championship before. A couple of years where he could not secure a ride. Came back full-time last year. I feel like a win is coming any day now overall for the number 9. A good start like today might help, but right now it is Wienen and Natale showing everyone the short way around. Down to the bottom of the track. Now this is a big uphill jump. It's possible to triple it at times, but they've changed it up a little bit. A bit of a half jump there on the inside as we watch Hetrick continuing to pound on Josh Kramer for the number 3 spot. Going to try an outside-inside move on this off-camber. That's one of the most famous corners on this track, and Hetrick uses it to his advantage, stealing 3rd place. He started all the way in the left, swept to the right. I think tried to get as much turning in as he could before they were at the steepest part of the off-camber. So the good news for Hetrick is he knows where he can make some passes now, but the bad news is Wienen and Natale have a little bit of a gap built up on him, but boy, he just ate that gap up and is already going after Natale for 2nd. These guys are barely able to get over that huge triple. You don't see them jump front and high like that very often. That's when they're just stretching it out, trying to get as many inches as they can out over that. Cross flags are out, so we're halfway through this moto. Hetrick has got an inside line. Can he outbrake Natale into the corner? You're not going to do that to the Ironman. He's won this title before, been around a long time, knows how to make himself tough to pass. We've seen situations where a guy it almost seemed inevitable that he would get Natale, and then he couldn't pull the trick. Hetrick down the inside now on these rollers. And this time, he made it look easy. Makes the pass, and now sets sail. Could he catch Wienen? I can't believe how quickly he made up ground on Natale, who looked so strong early. I'm telling you, there's a chance. Wienen still getting away, and look how smooth he is. We actually haven't been able to focus on the race leader much because we've been watching Hetrick's charge, but Wienen has been error-free, and this is the kind of track, especially with the weather we've had, you can't override it. You come in any of these corners too hot, you will pay the price. So Hetrick is really trying to hustle. Wienen is trying not to make the big mistake and have too much ground over. And don't rule out Kramer, who is close to Natale down the stretch. I was going to say white flag out for Wienen. I think Hetrick is about to run out of time. Not Kramer, though. He's right there going for that position. Battle is on. We go back to our leader. Wienen did not triple here on the final lap. And credit to Wienen, I thought Hetrick would make a run. He was straight up faster the last couple of laps, and he takes another Moto win. Look at the gap he pulled on Hetrick. Can't be too happy about that. You know he wants to come back in Moto 2. There's the top qualifier award. There are your results. We'll be right back. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. Time for our Mountain Dew moment. D-Manchak, take it.
Hi, I'm D. Manchak, and welcome to the Mountain Dew Moment. We're here in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Had a beautiful weekend of racing, and guys, we want to pass on a new catchphrase. It's called Race Responsibly. We're going to give you guys 2 examples of what to do and what not to do. And when you see a friend or someone riding a quad, what we're trying to do is endorse as much safety as possible when you're using an ATV. As you can see over here, we've got a young man. He has no gear on, and what you guys need to know about this is this quad weighs somewhere around 800 pounds. This guy has an accident on this thing, I can guarantee you there's going to be a problem. And on the other hand, this thing is super fast, super light. You see, for these kids to ride these things, they wear helmet, boot, gloves, they've got a neck protection, just like you'd have on your dirt bikes. You want to make sure you pass this around to everyone you know. You see someone acting irresponsible on an ATV, we want to keep our sport alive. Take the time to tell them, buckle up, be safe, and race responsibly. Thanks, and we'll see you next time on the Mountain Dew Moment.
You know, I don't even need to drink Mountain Dew after you get the Mountain Dew moment from D. Manchak, because I'm pumped up anyway. And so are these boys. We're about to go racing in Moto number 2. Once again, the Rocky Mountain ATV on board with Joel Hetrick. And it's lucky number 13, John Natale, getting out front. Natale, back by motorsport.com, just holding off Wienen, who's into second. And not too much difference in the order for the first moto. They've got Hetrick going after Kramer, although wasting little time. I think he's got that number 3 spot. So as Wienen tries to go after Natale, Hetrick tries to go after Wienen. This is a perfect setup. And don't rule out Kramer. How about these conditions? We had threats of rain and mud earlier, and now we have some dust. And that's the dust that Hetrick is eating right now. 1 lap in the books. No change in the order. It's the way they pretty much were off the start. Little flip-flop with the Can-Am boys. 3rd and 4th. They're all right in this. Hetrick's got a line here on the inside. And he makes the move on Wienen. You don't see that happen very often. The door was open, Wienen went wide, and that right-hand off-camber corner has been the domain of Hetrick. We saw him make the move on Josh Kramer in Moto 1. He makes the move on Wienen in Moto 2, and now the overall win is in play. We're going to combine the scores from both races today to determine an overall champ. If Hetrick can get Natali, he'll be the overall winner. Natali goes 3-1 though here. I think he'll have it. So all three of these riders have an opportunity, with Kramer back there as the spoiler. Oh, this is just awesome to watch Hetrick go to work, try to take over the lead. He tried this line in Moto 1, and this time he makes it stick. Taking over the #1 spot, Joel Hetrick, and the Pennsylvania fans are loving this battle. Two natives out front. Racer TV is brought to you by Mountain Dew, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, by Can-Am, and by Amsoil. This is racing about as good as it gets. It's the ATV Stampede brought to you by Maxxis at High Point Raceway. Chad Wienen going after John Natali for second. It doesn't matter where we race in 2014. Wienen and Natali have been all over each other. But this bodes well for Joel Hetrick getting away as these two battle for second. Listen to Hetrick running a low RPM through that section. Doesn't want to spin tires and get sideways. Little mistake there in the uphill, but certainly not enough to make a difference, as we still have Natali and Wienen battling it out. They put a little distance on Kramer. This will not affect the overall. A 2-1 score for Hetrick. He's going to be your overall winner no matter what. But points and pride are on the line, and these two are first and second in the standings coming into this race. Natali lost a little ground with the third place in Moto 1, but he went back to the tricks that have worked for him thus far this season, which is getting the start and then being awfully hard to get around. And I believe I see some tear-offs hanging off the side of Wienen's helmet, so he might be dealing with vision problems. Look at him trying everything to get the 13 and doubling in front. What a move. Wienen proving he's going to do whatever it takes. Now, back in the day, we were calling him wide open Chad Wienen. Speed was not an issue. Consistency was hard to come by. We haven't seen those types of moves from Wienen in the last couple of years. He has really rounded himself into an all-around champion. But sometimes you got to make things happen. And he was sideways on the takeoff of that double and still made the pass. So we go back up front, and no one else to see here on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC GoPro, because it's Joel Hetrick with clear racetrack. And he sees the white flag. Well, Hetrick's going to make a lot of people happy. He grew up in this area as one of the most prolific ATV amateur and mini riders ever. And he won races right off the bat in the pro ranks, but the consistency has been an issue as far as the title is concerned. He came into this season saying he just wanted to be consistent, but I don't think he was quite as blazing fast as he was a year ago. Now he's got the speed and the consistency mixed together, and he has been virtually unstoppable in this moto. Darn strong in the first race as well. Joel Hetrick. The win streak for Chad Wienen is over, and the 88 is #1 today. Chad Wienen, though, he learned those consistency lessons years ago. He's not going to be too bummed with second. And how about the ageless John Natali still up on the podium? Kramer and Thomas Brown, that's Wienen's teammate on the Yamaha, round out the podium. So those are your overall results. Let's talk to our top riders.
Here at High Point MX, started off the weekend with first in time qualifying. Came out the first moto with 4th or 5th on the whole shot, made some good passes up to second. Second moto went a lot better. I got 3rd on the whole shot, made real quick passes. 2 laps to go, my bike had some mechanical issues, but we pushed through it and I got the win. It's the first win of the year and it feels awesome. I can't thank everyone enough. This team is just awesome and they've been pushing for the wins, and that's what I'm going to keep going for.
First moto, came out with the Holy the first moto, and it was probably one of the more memorable things that I did this weekend was I didn't get the greatest of start, and I just was able to motor up and grab that hole shot, and the Alaska Motorsports engine just ripped, and those Max's tires were just hooking up all the way up to start, and just kind of was able to run my own race. I was able to extend about a 5-second lead over the pack and cruise to the finish. And second moto, came out of the start good again, was challenging John for the whole shot, and I was able to get a wheel in on him up at the top of the hill, but just wasn't able to work out, and I came out second. And about 3-4 laps in, I made a mistake down the hill, and I actually pushed way wide, and Joel was able to get underneath me. And you know, all in all, an awesome weekend for me, even though I got second overall. But extending the points lead, came in 6 points ahead, and coming out 13 ahead. So we're on the right track. We're doing the right things and staying consistent. And probably the best things were the starts this weekend for sure.
All right, here at Mount Morris, wasn't a real bad weekend for us, but wasn't the weekend I was looking for. First moto, we came out, I believe, third, and ended up finishing third. Second moto, we pulled the whole shot, was able to hold on for about 3 or 4 laps, and Joel Hetrick was able to get under me and tagged on with him till probably about 3 laps to go, and then kind of just made a mistake and let Chad get by and ended up third again. So with a 3-3, we ended up third overall for the weekend.
We'll give you our Racer TV race recap. Whole shot to Chad Wienen in Moto 1. Hetrick, not the good start, was able to work his way forward. First, he got around Josh Kramer, and he quickly closed the gap on second place in a tally while Wienen tried to get away. But as you can see, it was pretty darn close between all these guys. Hetrick finally found an opening and got the pass made on Natali. I thought he'd make a big run at Wienen down the stretch, but no, and Wienen actually was faster the last 3 laps, extended it. So we were set for a second Moto showdown, and that's where Natali grabbed the SSI Decals Whole Shot Award with Wienen right behind him, Kramer and Hetrick there as well. So going to work, making passes is Hetrick, and this was the one that mattered. He gets around Wienen, your first Moto winner, for second. And another big one here. He tried this late braking maneuver in Moto 1. It didn't work. He came back in Moto 2. It did. He got the lead and he was gone. Wienen would take second. And he has nothing to be ashamed of there. He is still your points leader. Congrats to our podium finishers. Thanks for watching. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant.